Hello, designers. It's Tracy here. I'm sitting in my dad's little secret viewing room. I think they call it the cupola. I might be making that up. Here in Sun Valley, Idaho. It's awesome to be here with family, to get back into the wilderness. In fact, there were some elk on our driveway this morning, which is exciting. My sister-in-law did a photo shoot with them, which is kind of funny. Anyway, today I'm here to talk about the hidden truth between something kind of random, dirty diapers, twins, and what that really means for your business. So you might have heard me talking a little bit about the fact that my sister had twins. I think it's 5 weeks ago. And I'm going to share like some funny correlations sort of about what I've learned about her sort of raising these twins and getting through the early phases of motherhood and getting thrown right in with two human beings right at once, and how I see that sort of correlating to your business, and what she's really learned, because it's been a huge process of discovery for her, and also like for me as her sister who's closest in proximity to being there to help her. First and foremost, if you are someone who has friends who are wanting to really up-level their business in 2018, especially their jewelry business, I would love for you to share this video, because some of these lessons are going to be sort of tried and true business practices, but also things that I want you to really all be thinking about as we start to emerge into 2018. We're about to change a new year. I love New Year's. I love new seasons. And it's just an awesome time for us to all refresh and reboot. So if you are so compelled, I would love for you to hit that little share button. You can share it in an email. You can share it in a messenger message. You can share it on a page or whatever. That also just shows us that you like the content that we're offering for you. And I'm on this space I should say, either on our podcast or this Facebook live show. Feel free to comment below, because that's really helpful. We'll start collecting those comments and actually use that as an opportunity to continue bringing you awesome stuff in the new year. We are excited because we have a really great January planned, which I'm going to tell you about some exciting announcements that we have coming up, and it's all starting up on December 31st, right? The right way to ring in the New Year's, right? I totally believe so. You'll be seeing some, hopefully, behind the scenes of my family New Year's Eve, if I can stave off this cold and hang out here in Sun Valley, which will be fun. But I want to kind of get to dive into today's topics. So who here has children? I would love to know. You can raise your hand, just give me a yes, or I have kids, or whatever. I'd love to know. A lot of you know I don't have children, but you might also relate to this if you don't have children. Is that your business oftentimes feels like your baby. I remember when I closed my first business, I went through like a little bit of a mild depression because I felt like I had lost. I'm not, for those of you who are parents to real human beings, I'm not trying to say that this is the same thing, because it's totally different. But I felt like I had lost my baby. I'd worked 11 years towards a goal and something in a business. And what ended up happening was at the end of the day, I didn't set things up in the right way and didn't have the foresight with some of the things that I'm going to teach you today to really pivot and grow my business when it was time for a change. And so I think that it's really important. Like, some of us think of our businesses as our babies. Some of us actually have real children. Some of us might feel the same way about both things. So a couple of weeks ago, or 5 weeks ago to be exact, we're about 5.5 weeks in. I can't believe how quickly infants change. I have a lot of nieces and nephews in my life, but I've never lived super close to any of my siblings when they had their children at a young age. I would visit from time to time. But I would see these, big, almost daily basis, like the changes that are happening with my sister's twins. Well, one of the things that I think was a really important part of my sister having twins, and that they really had to kind of think about, was coming up with a plan. My sister lives in a very small apartment in Hoboken, New Jersey. Her husband works full time. He doesn't work for a company that will give him long paternity leave. Luckily, she works for Bloomberg, and they have great maternity leave for that company. But they're required to sort of stick to a plan. And so one of the things that they really had to come up with in advance before the children were born was to really strategize about how they were going to handle this. And so my sister is very different than me. She's very analytical. I'm very creative and a little bit more fly by the seat of my pants, even though I do plan. I'm a good planner, but I'm one of those people who can pivot really easily, but she has to think things out. And if something doesn't go according to her plan, it's very difficult for her. But one of the ways that they were able to be somewhat successful in the early days was that they realized that they had to have some sort of plan in place in order to be able to handle like feeding two children, breastfeeding, and getting them to sleep on, at the same time and all that stuff. So how this sort of relates to your business is just like having children or twins, because it's really double trouble. It's pretty amazing. I have friends who have twins. My friend Tina, who has twins, that said, she texted me a couple days before my sister was giving birth, and she said in all caps, "Help your sister because she's going to need it." But the biggest lesson that, kind of comes from this and how it relates to business is that you really need to start with a game plan. When we don't have goals or something to move towards, whether it be a plan or a strategy or some sort of bigger ideal out there, you can call it whatever you want. It's really hard to have success in business because we are flying by the seat of our pants, as I mentioned, and we're not really sure what we're working towards. So it's known that people who have goals and actually plan, have action plans towards those goals, have more success in life and business in general. And so I think what my sister has been able to do is to kind of get through some of those rough times by having at least a loose plan. Things haven't always gone according to plan, which is something we're going to talk about momentarily. But the first step is to have a plan. The second step, which I think is really important, is to schedule. So my sister has worked really hard to get her twins on a schedule. It's very difficult because her daughter, Charlotte, is a super easy baby. She also weighed about 1 pound more when she was born. And the boy, Karcher, was a little bit, weighed 1 pound less and has been a little bit more difficult. He needs more attention. He has more trouble digesting breast milk and formula, and he is not a happy camper all the time. He knows when my sister is about to put him down, so he cries. And my sister has this, in a way, like some sort of like parent guilt. And I'm like, Carly, Charlotte's fine. Don't worry about it, because she has to hold Karcher more than Charlotte, because Charlotte can just chill on her own. But part of this is like getting them on a schedule. In the first couple of weeks, they weren't feeding necessarily at the same time. My sister was exhausted because she wasn't getting any sleep. One was having, that she had changed diapers here and there, and they weren't on the same feeding or sleeping schedule, and it was a nightmare. And she's finally gotten them to a place where they're kind of eating and potentially sleeping at the same time, as long as the Karcher, the boy, isn't overstimulated. And, they're kind of getting into a flow. And so a business lesson, heard us talk about this over at Flourish and Thrive Academy. Oh, I love all your comments. Poor little guy. I know. I really feel bad for him. Poor little guy. But they're so cute. My sister won't let me show you pictures of them. So I can only show hints, like their little booties. She's very weird about social media. But someday maybe they'll make a guest appearance on the show. I hope so. I'll beg her. We'll see. Anyway, it's important to have a schedule. So what I mean by this is to not only schedule out your marketing plans and your sales schedule, but to have a daily and weekly schedule of what you plan to get done. One of the things that I hear from designers a lot is that they sort of get overwhelmed with everything that's coming at them every day, and they don't have a plan, number one, to complete their top priorities, but they also don't have a plan for what they actually need to get done every single day of the week. And instead, they end their days feeling defeated, like they're not making progress towards their goals or their plans. And so it's really important to create a schedule for yourself. And for everyone, that's going to look differently. Some of you are working, some of you are not working and are doing your business full time. And some of you, have different sorts of scenarios, like maybe you have kids that you have to take care of during the day, and your ability to work is only at a certain period of time. Well, I can tell you, and there's also a statistic out there, that working mothers are some of the most working single mothers are some of the most productive people out there, because they have to be super organized and controlled with their time. So I really encourage you to create a schedule. Make a plan for the days that you're going to focus on what we like to call revenue generating activities, or RGAs, and plan those into your calendar. Make sure that you start each day knowing exactly what you need to accomplish by the end of the day. And make sure that you do those things first. I feel like we're going to talk about our topic number 5 in a moment, which ties into this idea of like repetition. But the most important thing that you can do is to create a schedule, stay on it, and do the same thing every single week. It's the easiest way to actually get something done because you know Mondays are slotted out for this, Tuesdays for this, Wednesdays for this, Thursdays for this, so on and so forth. You guys with me? You guys get this? Give me a yes or no, heart or like. Would love to know if I still have your attention because that is the most important part of this right now. So the next thing that you need to do is prepare for blowouts. So funny story, I don't know if my brother would really like me telling you this morning, but I have a niece who I'm here in Sun Valley with, and she's potty training everyone, but all of a sudden we're sitting here at breakfast and she looks at me and she's like, I'm peeing, and she's sitting on a stool in the kitchen. I'm like, what do you mean you're peeing? Do you have to go pee? Like, let's get you to the bathroom. She peed all over the place, just on the stool, and we're just like, what? My brother and I were like, what? WTF? Like, what are you doing, Vivi? And she's potty trained, she's fine, but I don't know, she just like waited too long to go to the bathroom and lost control and went to the bathroom all over the kitchen, and we're just like, oh my gosh. But you know, when you're a baby, especially when you have twins, babies have blowouts all the time. In fact, I was sitting on holding Karcher on my lap last week, and I'm like, why is my lap wet right now? And he had a total blowout. And we'll refrain the details from there, but same thing, Charlotte's had a few too when I've been holding them. And I'm just like, wow, how can something so little like make such a big mess? Well, the fact of the matter is that in life and business, you're gonna have some blowouts. Things aren't gonna go according to plan. Things are gonna like blow up in smoke, and you're not gonna expect it, and you're gonna be left cleaning up a big dirty diaper mess that you might not have expected. Just like we weren't expected to, my brother wasn't expecting to be Windexing the kitchen floor this morning with my little niece. But be prepared for blowouts in business. And one of the best ways that I can advise you to prepare for blowouts are to just be okay and understand that things are gonna, like, the SHIT is going to hit the fan sometimes, and you are gonna have to be able to like be adaptable and handle it. And so you know, you guys know about our Diamond Insiders group. We have this really great community of membership that we have here at Flourish and Thrive. And it's an awesome group. If you're not a member and you're watching this, I highly recommend that you consider a membership next time that we open it up, because we've been hearing a lot about amazing DI wins, and we call it hashtag DI wins, from designers, like how they've grown over the past year, 6 months, all that stuff shared in the group. But one of the most amazing things about the group is how the designers are able to get support when things aren't actually going their way. And it's a really awesome opportunity to be able to sort of learn with support from other people when we do boot camps and stuff like that, to feel that sort of camaraderie with your friends, to feel supported when things don't go wrong, and to actually have someone being able to, or many people being able to help you look at your business from the outside in. Because sometimes when we're so close, tell me if you have ever felt this way, sometimes we're so close to the situation that we take things personally. I remember earlier this year, I don't want this Facebook Live to go on forever, but I remember when earlier in the year, I was having a really difficult time with a customer. He bought like tons and tons of gold cufflinks for me. So I was making a lot of money on it, but he was so difficult. And I was really, really struggling with it. And I shared my story in the group. And one of the things that was really helpful, even though I have a lot of life experience and business experience in the jewelry industry, it's always still, even to this day, so helpful to have, you know, people who can understand your plight and actually help support you and get through it. So I just want you to know that throughout life and business, no matter how long you've been in it, you're always going to have blowouts that happen, but it's really how you deal with it and how you clean up the mess and all that sort of things. So my next little lesson here is that, dude, twins change, or babies change so quickly in general, but like little kids, they change so quickly. Like my sister was sending me a picture. Like, I just saw them last week. My sister was texting. I ask her for pictures every day because I'm that kind of aunt. Texting me pictures. I'm like, oh my gosh, they look so different already. They're like, yeah, she's like, they've gained another pound already this week, or within the last couple of days. And it's just incredible how quickly not only they change physically, but how their habits change and like what happens, like according to the schedule, like or according to development schedule and process. I think they're going to be smiling pretty soon, which is kind of crazy. Smiling on purpose, I should say. And it's fun, and that is one of the things, is like as my sister's twins continue to evolve and change, so does their routine and their schedule and how they handle it. And how this relates to business is that everything's always changing. I think back to a year ago where we were here with Flourish and Thrive Academy, where I was with my jewelry business, and some of the things that we did to help, inspire, engage the community, and actually like get out in front of like our ideal audience. Those tactics have totally changed. And what worked then isn't necessarily what works the best now. And so what this means to you is that marketing tactics, sales tactics, the industry of retail and how we're getting our work out there is always changing. And as a brand, your brand evolves as well. And so I always like to recommend for designers, especially at the beginning of the year, is to reconnect with what it is that they stand for. Reconnect with their who, what, and why of their business. Understand like really like what their goals and plans are. And I know this sounds like, oh, I've done that before, and I've identified my ideal client and all that stuff. But I bet you if you sit down with it, there are some things that have changed, really important things that have changed. And if you don't take a look at those and like become adaptable, what will end up happening in 3 months is we're going to hear you complaining that your sales are down or you're struggling to get consistent sales, because you're not looking at these things. And it's really important every single year or periodically. I mean, you could even do it every 6 months if you wanted to be looking at, where you are in business, what it is that, you want to change and evolve, and what's changed in the industry and the marketplace. Because I hear a lot of times, like people just, designers and business people in general, because it's not just in our industry, will complain and moan because like they're doing something that worked a couple years ago, but they're not adapting to the changes that are happening now. And they're wondering why, their business isn't, getting the results that they want. And there's this quote by Einstein. You probably heard me say it before if you've been a follower of me, but I used to say this. This was one of my favorite quotes to start my yoga classes with back in the day that I started quotes. That how does it go? It's a quote by Einstein, and it goes like this. Oh gosh, I'm going to lose it now. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. And I think that this quote has also been attributed to other people. So for my best knowledge, it's known that it's an Einstein quote. But if it's attributed to someone else, I trust you on that. But at the end of the day, the most important thought about this is, if you continue to do the same thing and you're not getting the results that you want, something's got to change, because that is you're basically like driving yourself in a ditch or a hole, and be able to move with what happens. Hey guys, can you still see me video working? Because something looks from my end. I just want that we're good. Jess, maybe if you could send me a text message. I want to make sure that we're all good. All right. And so the final thing, I have one more thing, is that repetition is the key to success, which I think is really important. Wash, rinse, repeat. So with twins, they get on a schedule. You do the same thing every day. You put them to bed at the same time every day. They start to thrive. They're on a schedule and they're doing the same thing over again. And it's a known fact. I don't have children of my own, which you guys know, but it's a known fact, and I hear it all the time from my friends, my parents, my siblings, is that children need repetition. And I spend a lot of time with my little nieces, and I'm spending time with them right now. My nieces, Madison, they're doing all the time is keep repetitive cycle of the same over and over. We try to mix it up, and keep things exciting in the middle of the day, but like if you change things down and they start to, when you keep it structured, you start to thrive. So go through your business. Repeat what's worked, pivot when and continue on. What I want to kind of walk you through what we talked about today. The first is to plan. The second is, so you need to create a plan, have some goals, know where you're going for the new year. If you haven't set some sort of like business plan for the new year, it doesn't have to be long. Just think about some of the achievements that you want to accomplish by the end of the year. Wrong thing. The second one is to schedule. You need to have a schedule in your day to make sure that you are creating structure for yourself, because that's the most important thing to thrive. Make sure that you have your top 3 priorities every day, that you're using specific days of the week to do certain actions, and that you leave some time for creativity, because this is where the big ideas come in, but we want you to spend most of your time on RGAs. The next step is, where are we? With blowouts. Prepare to pivot, because you're going to have blowouts. This is a natural part of business. It is not something that you should feel bad about when things go wrong. It's just normal. Sometimes we put our best foot forward, and we're going to always be having to deal with struggles in business. The next step is to remember that change happens quickly. You need to be able to adapt, to pivot, and also to analyze in a way that you can understand and really see like some of the changes that are happening not only in our industry but in your business and how it relates, so that you can pivot and grow. And finally, I want to leave you with this concept of repetition. So doing the same thing over and over again are really useful to helping you thrive. The same things over and over again that are actually working. Let me put it that way. So when you can, create a schedule and repeat that schedule and focus on the things that actually work, and be able to look inside enough to understand when something's not working and know when to cut bait. That's really important. So with all that being said, I would love for you to save the date. We have something really important coming up. We don't have a special call to action for this specific boot camp today, but if you are interested, or for this specific Facebook Live today, I should say, but if you're interested, I would really like for you to save the date. On December 31st, we are going to make an announcement that I'm making the announcement now, that our Jewelry Brand Makeover Bootcamp is open for basically enrollment. It's starting on January 8th, so I want you to mark your calendar. It is one of the best boot camps and trainings that we do all year. If you're of the JBI and you're not in our Diamond Insiders, and you want to come back to that sort of group aspect and feeling, if you're a member of our Diamond Insiders, if you're just a general member of the Thrive Tribe community, I would really like to invite you to join us and invite your friends. It's one of the most powerful experiences that we do here at Flourish and Thrive. It's 100% free. And basically what we do is we walk you through our 3-part challenge series that is designed to help you take a look from the inside out of all the things that I just talked about today, actually on this Facebook Live. How to plan, how to understand who you're marketing to really get to that sort of foundational aspects of your brand, so you can build out a plan, a schedule, and really start adapting to some of the changes that are happening in the market, so that your 2018 kicks butt. We wrap up this challenge series with an amazing masterclass where we kind of tie all the concepts together. And if you've participated before, I want to tell you that we have a lot of new stuff for you. So don't think that, oh, I've already been there, done that. But there are some repeat concepts, because these are important things that you need to be revisiting every single year. And that's why we lay it out this way. Every time we do this, we have designers who've been with with Flourish and Thrive for over 5 years. They come back year and year again. We have some amazing coaches lined up who are going to support you all throughout bootcamp. And Lena's saying, I'm saving the date. Jess is saying, Jackie, write this stuff down, girl. You know how it feels to be forgetful. Keeping your agenda, tasks, and such in written form will help you keep you focused and free up the mental space. That is the truth. I'm going to leave you with a story, just like in relation to what Jess said. I'd love to invite you to join us. Please share this with your friends. Actually, we're going to maybe post a link below. I'll make sure that we have somewhere for you guys if you don't get the reminder. But I will be coming on here many, many times. If you're subscribed to our messenger, you'll be getting a notification. If you're subscribed to our email list, you will definitely be getting a notification as well. But just mark the date. Stay tuned. Stay in touch. We have our Jewelry Brand Makeover Bootcamp coming. It officially opens up December 31st. We're kicking it off January 8th, right in time for the new year. And remember, it's completely free. So one of the things that I want to remind you of is that a lot of you say things like, I'm creative, structure and schedule. It like really dampens my creativity. Well, I'm going to argue with you, and I would really challenge you to try this out. So I'm a highly creative person. I ask anyone on my team, and I work with a team of highly creative people. And we all have different skill sets. You know, some of them are creative, but like really good at analytical stuff. Some of them are really good at other. Abby, like our business manager, is just complete opposite of me, which is great. But one of the things, like they thrive in different scenarios. And one of the things that has been, you know, a real work in progress for me as the leader of Flourish and Thrive Academy and of my jewelry business was to be able to set boundaries, which is basically creating structure and a schedule. And what I mean by this is that my calendar was getting filled up every single day with meetings and appointments. And that's important because I am the leader of this company. I'm the one who, along with Robin, helps create those, you know, business development connections and partnerships and the things that we need to grow as a business and to be able to support you better. But at the end of the day, if my schedule is all full with meetings and I'm not being adamant and setting boundaries with stuff that I need to do to actually get not only the work done that I have to get done in the business, but also have space to be creative, it really messes things up. So what schedules and plans have allowed me to do is to really free up my time so that I have days for creativity. In fact, Wednesday is now, no one on my team is allowed to book or schedule any appointment unless there's like, you know, an exception to the rule. Those are the days that I spend thinking up strategy, coming up with design ideas, thinking about where I want, you know, how I want to support you better, because that is really my zone of genius. And if you're anything like me, you might feel the same way, like designing the jewelry, making the jewelry, that is your zone of genius. But the fact of the matter is that we still need to run a business. And so in order to be your most creative, you need to set that schedule and structure in place so that you can have the space to actually be your most creative and have the most impact with that creativity. Do you guys get that? So anyway, super excited. I hope that you guys will mark the date and save the date. It's going to be an awesome boot camp. And if you want to, you know, get in, I'm just going to type it here. We weren't going to share this with you, but we'll share it now just in case you want to get on it now. flourishthriveacademy.com/makeover. And you can get all signed up early bird. You won't really be getting a lot of announcements from us until December 31st, though. But just wanted to keep you in the loop. Thank you so much for being here today, guys. This was awesome Facebook Live. We got tons of people sharing and commenting. Robin says, Bootcamp is such a great way to kick off the new year. Allison's saying, I'm already registered. Allison, if you think you're already registered, you probably are. Jess and Abby from our team is saying, it's free and perfect for beginners and jewelry brands at all stages. That is true. Let's see. Yes, it's Richtel. It's great for anyone who's actually in business because it really is effective for you depending on your stage. Like if you're just starting out, it's going to give you a lot to think about. But if you've been doing this for a while, it's a great way to hone in. And I know a lot of our longtime Flourish and Thrive designers are in this. Lena's saying, I'm saving the date. Awesome, Lena. I'm so excited for you to be part of this. All right. Let's see. Any other things? And Robin is saying, it's amazing how quickly things change. That is so, so true. Anyway, thanks, you guys. Have an awesome rest of your holiday season. I'll be popping in, maybe even with a little toast on New Year's Eve. It's going to be fun. I'll talk to you guys soon. Have an awesome day. Bye.